awkward.
So the beadboard has to be more perfect than the drywall was, because the drywall is behind, you can't see it. So the beadboard has got to be cut to a T. So I have a drawing, it looks crazy, and it is all the measurements so that I can cut each piece exactly as it needs to be. And you're wondering where Casey is. Casey's up doing some planting. That needs to be done also, but I don't really need help cutting and measuring out dimensions, so I'm going to work on this. There is going to be trim, so there's a little room for error, but not a lot of room for error. Alright, I'm not sure how much you can tell, but we have the lines drawn. So this is half a window, that is a whole window, and then we have the point. So this is the middle point up here. And it's a strange piece, but if I measured right, it should fit pretty good. I'm actually about to go double check a measurement because the second window, when I cut that, there's no going back, so I'm gonna go double check that. Hold it, push it up and hold it, because I need to get to grab the tool. If you wanted, do such a thing. Like you can. Alright, here's where we are ending today. We still have to do this whole side and the pieces down here. And then of course we've got to fill all the holes and seal all the corners and crevices, but it's a start. This is upside down. I was like, something is amiss. Push forward. Hold on. Hello? So we have moved the fridge over here and the stove inside, and we don't love it. They are massive.
Well, it's not that we don't love it.
What's that? I don't love it.
I just think, really bright.
Yeah, hold on.
It's just that it's really hard. When you're trying to buy appliances used on like Marketplace, you only have so many options. So you just like buy what you can find, and then you get it in here and you're like, oh, that it takes up more space. And we're talking about a tiny kitchen and full-size appliances. And
yes, and the thing is we put the fridge in first where we wanted it to go, and we were like, bad. It's too big. We considered getting a smaller one, which isn't necessarily off the table, but we would like to use these appliances because they were really cheap. I mean, they work and they're fine, but they didn't cost a lot of money, and we have them. So now we're basically rethinking the entire layout.
There's a thought of this giant fridge, which is a normal size fridge. It's about the size of the fridge we had in Nashville. Putting that in like our shed and just having like that as a backup, and putting a smaller one in here. The stove, there's no backup for a stove. We would just have to sell that.
She means we can't keep it.
We couldn't keep it. We couldn't find an alternative
use for it. So
we also have a dishwasher.
We do. And this layout, we're like, I don't think that's going.
I'm not sure that.
I think we could put it in with the shop. What is it called? The washer and dryer. For.
She was talking about putting a dishwasher in the shed, and I'm like, would be nuts to haul your dishes into there. I think I'd probably just rather wash them in the sink than haul them to wash them in the
Sure. So we have a dishwasher and don't know what we're gonna do with that. But it was only it's a Bosch, and it was only $100. So
we did not pay more than $150 for any of these appliances. Not total, but each. So.
Yeah. How much total was it? We bought a fridge, we bought the stove, a sink, and a dishwasher.
Yeah, so like we got the stove for $125. They just gave us the microwave that went with it, even though we didn't want it. And then the fridge was $150, and the dishwasher was $100. So I think we did the math. It's like $415 or something.
Yeah,
right.
I think so.
Which is
anyway, we
cheaper
have
than new any of those.
Sure, we have a lot of decisions to make. So we're just gonna go to lunch instead. We'll probably talk about it over lunch. Okay, so we're thinking about doing an island now. So we have it taped out, and this is 3 feet by 2 feet. We want to be able to move it around so that, we could put it to the side if we wanted more room in here. Not sure if this is going to solve our problem of, I think it'll add 3 feet of counter space, so that will be nice. But it doesn't solve our dishwasher problems. There's just really not room
18 inches
over here.
18 inches is the size of one of those small size dishwashers.
And we have a full size dishwasher. So the sink is gonna go to about here. So there's just not enough room to be able to open a dishwasher right here and have access to this back here. I'm really red, but I just wanted to show you that we've had the fridge on all day. I'm starting to transfer food over here, which is exciting, but this is a trial run. We're running it off the Jackery tonight to see if it can survive the night. But we don't want to run 2 fridges, so moving everything from this little fridge over there, and I might be moving it back tomorrow if it doesn't survive the night. So today was our town day, and we had ordered a bunch of stuff from Lowe's, and a lot of that stuff was for our stock tank pool, for getting the ground really level. And then we're also going to put like papers down, and it's going to be a longer term project, but for now we at least want to have something to walk on that's not sand, and then also we need the pool to be level. So anyway, that was the last thing we were going to be doing in town. And we were coming out of buying groceries, and there was a massive thunderstorm. It was hailing and it wasn't letting up, so Casey went and ran and got the van, and we loaded up, and we were soaking wet. And luckily we had done our laundry in town, so we both had like plenty of clothes here to change into. That's why I'm so wet, but I have a dry shirt on. And then we went to pick up the stuff at Lowe's, and it kind of stopped being so thunderstormy, but nobody was out there to help us load all the sand, and it's a lot of sand, and the pavers and the compost and all the stuff that we had ordered. So we were like, well, we can either just return it or load it all ourselves. And so we did that, and it was sprinkling the whole time, so we were soaking wet again in our new dry clothes. So just changed again, and now we're eating dinner in town because it's just been it's been a lot. It's taken a lot longer to do the things we needed to do. So Casey's inside, McAllister's getting us some food, and then we're gonna head back. It'll probably be a couple days because it's rained for 2 days now. Probably be a couple days before we start working on stock tank pool again. Also, we are ready to kind of start making the cabinets and countertops and stuff for the kitchen. We've kind of figured out a plan. Not going to show you it yet because every time I show you something, that's not what ends up happening. So we actually have to go out of town this weekend to install our last 2 stock tank pools of the season. So I'm just going to wait to start working on the kitchen until after that. So hopefully when it dries out outside, we can work on our stock tank pool, and maybe we can have a pool soon because it is hot.
Today, Savannah is putting her art degree to work, making her brother, who recently got married, his wedding present. He requested a painting of a sea turtle, and that is what she is doing.
Now I'm mixing paint.
Well, now she's actually mixing paint.
This is an official
painting. This is what the really good artists use, is a solo plate. I'll put a little more blue, just kidding. So we have a lot of things to do in the orchard today. We, decided to buy a bunch of blueberry bushes, raspberry bushes, blackberry bushes. Well, those are more like little plants, but the blueberries are full bushes. And then I need to stake a lot of the trees. Some of them are sturdy enough where they don't seem like they need staking, but a lot of them are kind of leaning, so I have stakes. some compost tea. I ordered this on Amazon because they could guarantee like certain things. We don't have compost broken down enough to make tea yet. So basically it's just like make a nice tea. You just dunk it here. And the water is our untreated rainwater. You don't want like tap water or chlorinated water because that will kill the good stuff. So you just do like this, gently massage this for like a minute and a half.
Is there more than one in there?
Yeah, but you only do one per thing. This needs to come out and sprinkle that in here.
All right.
Those are the microbes.
So just sprinkle it right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the water, not where you are.
Yeah.
Those like little bugs, honestly. Like little gnats.
This week I've been reading a lot about soil health, and there's this one lady who keeps coming up every time I kind of read about like regenerative practices, and I think her name is like Dr. Elaine Ingham, I think is her name. Anyway, her whole thing is that all the soil all over the world has all the nutrients that you need in it for your plant to thrive. They're just not bioavailable to your plants. How they become bioavailable, in the easiest way I can explain it, is little microorganisms, bacteria, all these little things that live in your soil. They eat those nutrients and then make it available to the plants, but you need to have life in your soil in order for your plant to be able to enjoy the nutrients that are in there. So that's why you add microorganisms through compost teas and things like that. That helps bring life to your soil, and then you won't have to add fertilizers and all those things because it's already in your soil. I've also taken an interest in Korean natural farming, which you collect indigenous microorganisms, or you'll hear people say IMO1, IMO2, IMO3. I'm not going to explain that here. You can go look into it. But it's a several day process. It's the same kind of thing though. You're putting life back into the soil by collecting life somewhere else. And anyway, that's kind of the stuff we want to do, because I don't want to apply fertilizer and all that kind of stuff forever. It's gonna take 100 years, but
yeah, we need to get a dedicated poury thingy. Okay, that thing there. I really think that might be a bit much. There we go. Okay, I got it on my hands. Is it just gonna start already?
strange.
There we go. Why is that not going in?
There we go.
Weird. While Casey is spraying the entire garden with that stuff, I am going to work on planting more seeds. So these are the seeds I'm going to be planting. I have a few different corns in here. These are sweet corns. I've actually already planted our corns for drying. I also have this amaranth, Chinese spinach, so it's a green you can eat that grows really well in the summer, like in the heat. I'm also going to be replanting my tomatillos and ground cherries because the starts did terribly. Gonna do some borage, a little bit of amaranth, this is more corn, and then everything else are winter squash. So ideally we would have planted a lot of this stuff earlier, but the thing is we still have plenty of time until our first frost. So our first frost is somewhere in the October 20th to 25th range. It's hard to find out what exactly it is for our area because we are in a very small area and there just isn't a lot of information out there for tiny little towns areas. The thing that I'm planting that has the longest amount of maturity days is a squash, and it's 108 days, and I looked it up, and 108 days from today is September 25th. So there's plenty of time for all of these things to grow and also become crops that we can use before the first frost. Also, when you are planting seeds that you're planting straight into the ground versus doing seedlings inside and transferring them outside, you can take a little bit of those days off because it's usually days from transplant that that number is for. And so we're going to be putting them right into the ground, and hopefully in 108 days or less we will have plenty of winter squash and corn, sweet corn to pick. And if we don't, it'll still have about, 3 or 4 weeks until before it freezes. So I planted all the seeds that I wanted to, and Casey has put 2 rounds of compost tea on the garden. She has got compost tea on every part of every garden that we are growing. We've got the rose garden, the trees, all the food. And now we are going to hook our water pump up to the Jackery, our solar generator, and turn some sprinklers on so we can just kind of water in the compost tea and all these places. And then over there she's going to hand water the blueberries and raspberries that she planted. It has been a long day of working outside, but it's actually really nice out. So when it's like this, you've got to just really use it as well as you can, because next week we're going to hit the 90s, which hasn't happened yet here, and we are definitely not going to be working outside then, except we probably are because we have to, but we're not going to be doing as much as we did today. Nice and straight.
Put one in the other. All right, well, I'm standing in the orchard / berry land. I just finished mulching around, finally finished mulching around all of the trees. We just a couple days ago put up a video about planting our orchard. That was actually filmed a while ago, and I just today finished mulching around the trees, because first I put compost down and then I put wood chips, like pine bark chips, on top of that. And we added this week, I think, how many blueberries?
6.
We planted 6 blueberry bushes, like Pink Lemonade was one of them. I can't remember the rest of them. Titan was another variety. And then 12 blackberries and like how many raspberries, like 6 raspberries maybe. Anyway, we shouldn't expect much from those this year, but next year I hope we're gonna have apples and pears, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, all the berries, all the fruit. So there it is. Most of everything is in this row, and then there's this row, and then a little row back there. Yeah, so that's what it looks like right now. Hopefully this is all gonna be ground cover in here one day. And really we just want this to be like a solid like rectangle of mulch and things planted, and same here and same up there. Again, this little garden won't be there next year. Thank you for watching. Come back again next week to see what we're up to.